I think what I've becoming really, really aware these days is that because the frame is so light, it's just light to take in, and there seems to be with at least with me and with the people that I've been playing with, um, there's some kind of mental development that occurs that continues to test the awareness of what we see. So I'm calling that the pixelation of our whatever we see becomes more pixelated according to what we're looking for, or more colorful if you want to. That it starts to take people through other stages, that but it does it in a way that it's not directed, because we don't talk about it, and because we don't talk about it, then it allows for things to emerge in a different way than if I was looking for to take you from one stage to the other stage. So all these connections happen and are emergent, but if you can actually zoom out, you can see that that's happening, and therefore have different conversations with people about the same thing.
I guess what I'm carrying away is a phrase to unpack and explore, which is how, and it's a challenge to myself. It's how to become a reflective catalyst. One of the things that I have treasured, not from just this experience, but over the years with HSD, is that it feels catalytic. It anytime I have brought it into my praxis, it changes me and or the systems I'm in, and yet doesn't feel like it's changed. But then I turn around and look at myself or at HSD, and it is different. And there's the dissonance in that in my mind of, but if it's catalytic, catalysts don't change, but it's different. And it's what I'm exploring and taking away from this is a deeper appreciation for standing in the middle of that dissonance and resonating with it and trying to understand where does that take me.
First of all, I'm blessed to be surrounded with people who have been practicing HSD for a long time. And it's really lovely to be again with new people and to be challenged. So the first session, I felt like, where did I join? I don't have a clue what those people are talking about. So it's really good to be surrounded by differences, different ways of looking at it, different way of practicing, different fields you're working in. And what I noticed is that several times people mentioned other things they were doing, and we are weaving that together with HSD. And I don't see HSD as standalone. And I remember the first meeting we had, I also said, I just came from a week with Nora Bateson, and Glenda said, yeah, I see similarities, but there's also something that I don't agree on, or something like that. And that triggered me like hell. So I'm really, because I like to work like this. Like when you were talking about, very enthusiastic last time about art of hosting, I think we do bring wisdom from different places in how do we collaborate, how do we make sense of things, how do we work with differences, and I see so much things that come together if I look at the work of the Batesons and HSD, that I first of all, I'm very interested in anybody to explore where are the sames and differences here.
This class has given me language to get past some of the barriers that I'd always had. Like, for instance, the whole idea that we're taking things that are already in people's subconscious, and we're offering it up so that they can communicate it, and so they can spread the energy to other people who don't understand it subconsciously. To me, that's been very helpful, because I think a lot of times people get on the defensive if they feel like you're saying something they already understand. And so it kind of gets past that boundary, I think, of them getting on the defensive and saying, well, yeah, of course, that's simple. I understand it. But it gave me a way to say, yes, but does everybody here understand it? It will really increase the size of the container if everyone understands, and we're all on the same focused direction. Personally, I know my years of HSD has increased my mindful presence. I've also practiced mindfulness some, but I think the HSD has been instrumental in that. And I'm wondering if it has to do with the fact that, there's a selective learning process, but then there's also a lot of randomness in everything we do. And it just is energizing, these synchronicities that we discover, these connections with other people that we discover, as we go through our adaptive action cycles and our inquiry together.
What was so helpful to me here is CDE was one of the tools that I found most difficult to integrate into my practice. And in part because I think I was always trying to explain to people what it was. And I just need to utilize it and be much more flexible. This whole thing has been helpful to me in thinking about the containers that exist, the differences in these groups, and the exchanges and where I can help shift or facilitate deeper and greater exchanges. So it's been super helpful to me.
There's the technical side of learning about CDE, but the human side that I've seen from this very experienced group is acceptance. That whatever happens, to accept it and to be, that's what I want to be, in the moment thing. I don't have that in me. But I see that here in the value of it. And part of that acceptance is the acceptance and appreciation for tension.